We're here with Dean Coccaro, Vice President of Operations at Zendex Tool in Danbury, Connecticut. Dean has worked with CONNSTEP on some projects in the past, including inventory accuracy and control for his shop. Dean has conducted and participated in training on lean manufacturing tools. He's worked on continuous improvement processes for his business. And you've also attended our CICC course, which is our continuous improvement champion certification course, to develop skills that for many businesses find are necessary to implement lean principles to help improve their productivity and quality and eliminate waste and reduce costs. Zendex Tool is a family-owned and operated manufacturer started by Dean's father, Al. The company is known for its original invention, the Gojek self-loading wheel dolly, and continues to do quite well in the industry. Dean, if you could just tell me a little bit more about your business and then maybe show me around your shop where you can share with me how working with CONNSTEP has impacted your business and what you put into practice at your shop based on your CIC training and also maybe how your flow of your organization has improved.
Sure, I'd love to. So just a little more background. Like you mentioned, my father Al started the business in 1984. Actually had his own body shop, so he had a need to move cars around, especially in and out of paint booths, and that's kind of how the Gojek wheel dolly was born. It was the way that people were moving cars before was either not efficient or just crude, and so he came up with this idea.
Sure. Started
making it in this little 400 square foot shed behind his body shop, and now we're in a 30,000 square foot facility here in Danbury. We're very much American manufacturer in the way that we fabricate all of our material here in-house. We bring in a lot of American steel from U.S. mills.
Great.
And we source components domestically whenever possible, a lot of times actually in the Northeast. Over the years we've really grown and kind of adjusted our operations, and I came on about 4 or 5 years ago to help in the business, and I knew that we needed something, but my background wasn't in manufacturing, and I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was we needed to kind of take us to the next level. I could see that things looked a little unorganized out there or could be organized better, but it wasn't until Bob from CONNSTEP came in and started talking to me about some of these lean concepts that it really just kind of the light bulb went off in my head. I just remember thinking like, yes, that's exactly what we need. We need to, we need more one-piece flow. We need to, do some 5S out there and reduce our inventory. And I started learning, and it just basically started my journey there. And like you mentioned, I had a Kaizen event here, which was just the start of the transformation. Attended the CICC class, which I benefited so much from that I'm actually going to have one of my employees here start it next week.
Fantastic.
And we're trying to push this lean mentality and this continuous improvement concept out on the floor to everybody. I want everyone to think in that way because I'm seeing the benefits, to our business.
Great. Can we see some of the benefits out on your shop floor?
Let's go take a tour.
All right, let's take a quick stop here and go take a walk. Thanks. All right, Dean, here we are in your shop. Why don't you take us through what you do here and some of the lean practices that you're working on.
So this is our CNC cell. So this is where we make any of our components that we bring in raw steel and for instance inner members for our rack jack, our pneumatic jack. We machine all these parts. Here's an example of some jobs that they're working on right now. So this is a pretty active area normally.
Okay.
A lot of room for expansion once we continue to grow the sales. And let's kind of take you upstream so you get an idea where it all starts.
Sounds great.
So this is basically where all the raw material comes in.
Okay.
Everything comes in through this bay door, gets loaded off the crane. Like I was mentioning before, we used to have a lot of different stuff out here. Now we just basically have what we need.
Okay.
Easy for them to pull. Comes right onto the saw here, and that's kind of the first step in our process. That's where we start getting our work in process material. We also have the 2 plasma tables where we're cutting all of our sheet steel. making different components for our Go Jacks and Rack Jacks and other lines. So this is where it all kind of starts. And the next natural step in the process is our punch and press cell. So all of our punches and presses have been consolidated into this little horseshoe design, and basically allows us to kind of efficiently move the material, push it through, and get it to the welders.
Gotcha.
That's really where the magic happens here.
Okay.
Is our guys that are welding these different models and variations.
Gotcha.
So let's go take a look at that.
Absolutely.
Here's an example of some axles being made for one of our models.
Okay.
We have our punch there and our press, which is the next step in the process. We try to just kind of flow this through small batches, just whatever we're going to need to make for that day. So,
Okay.
this is kind of like our welding cell. This is one of our robotic welders. We're starting to do a lot more robotics here just to increase our throughput.
Sure.
So we have this one is fully programmed, operates most of the day. We have a second robot in process. So we're really going to be able to ramp up our throughput.
Okay.
Here's where one of our main components is made. This is the foot pedal for the Go Jack. Once it gets burned on the plasma and pressed into shape, we have to weld some components on there. So we kind of have like a little continuous line. It goes from there into this blaster here, which removes any of the slag, and then straight to paint.
Okay.
So let's go take a look at paint room.
All right.
This is our paint room, so we're not painting anything today, probably later today, but basically we load them on these hooks, run them through our booth, snakes up into our oven here, and the idea is that it comes right down to the assembly area. Down. And basically we have a two-step process here. So we're going to get some bearing grease and some labels and parts, and then they either get put on this rack or passed right over to the final assembly.
Okay.
We do kind of batches of 5 or 10.
Yep.
And all kind of makes its way over there, gets palletized and put in the warehouse.
Very cool.
So this is our Go Jack assembly line. This is our Rack Jack assembly line.
Yep.
So you see we have some Kanban cards here, clearly labeling every component that we have. Here we have another father-son combination, Sealis and Wilson, working on a next round of DBT2 Rack Jacks.
Very nice.
So they're going to push these through, box them up, and same thing right into the warehouse.
Okay. Fantastic.
Here's a nice example of our VMI. We have our bins come in here and keep these bins stocked. These are all different components that need to be used on our Go Jack.
Yep.
So basically these guys are just going to pull what they need and use it right on the bench here.
Okay.
So there's, everything's right at their fingertips.
Perfect. Perfect. Great example of lean. Yep.
Yep. You have kind of certain place for everything. Here's a example of that foot pedal that we just saw welding up over there.
Yeah.
You see it's got a powder coat on here.
Yes.
They do a little sub-assembly and keep a supermarket here. And they pull these when they're doing the final assembly in the Go Jack.
Gotcha.
So we normally have our basket of pedals, our basket of steel rollers, that's another component, and our catheter.
Oh, okay. All right.
So these come kitted from our supplier now. So we have our nut bag in there, and it's everything they need, just goes right in the box at the end.
Very smart.
Here's our shipping area.
Okay.
We've tried to create some dedicated shelving for our shipping manager. And here's a small supply of finished goods. These are items that are regularly sold. He has them at his fingertips. He doesn't need to go into the warehouse and pull a full pallet out if it's just a small order.
Right.
So we restock this every Friday. We try to keep 1 week's supply of everything he needs here.
Okay.
He's got something similar in his office with all replacement parts for all the replacement parts we sell.
Okay.
So, you know, that's our shipping department.
All right. Okay.
I'll show you the warehouse, and that'll kind of be the end of it.
All right. Fantastic. But how big is your facility here, Dean?
So it's 30,000 square feet of production and 10,000 square feet here in the warehouse.
Okay.
We've got, you know, kind of a main row of finished products. These are all goods that have been shrink wrapped. They're ready to go. They're just waiting for pickup.
Gotcha.
And this is kind of where we keep our supermarket of raw materials.
Okay.
You know, these Kanban cards here. They're
Oh, yeah.
kind of just an internal thing.
Yep.
You know, this is a main axle that gets welded on to another component.
Okay.
So you can see this was made Feb 26, a
Yep.
batch of 720.
Okay.
So it makes it easy for us to, you know, keep the right amount on hand. You see, you got 2 areas for this axle.
Yes.
So if that area is full, you know, then the upstream guy knows he doesn't need to cut anymore. That's the right amount they need for the next 2 weeks. So we kind of have different models here of axles. These are rollers, like I said. We obviously use a lot of those.
Yeah, I see that.
And, you know, we're pretty lean right now. We just went through a pretty big round of manufacturing, so we're going back to upstream, and we're going to start chopping up more material and getting ready for the next batch.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Well, I want to thank you for taking us on this tour and your lean journey that you've been experiencing and continue to experience here at Zendex Tool in Danbury. I wish you continued success with your operations, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.